Bearder Bros Golf Show back at it again. I am Rod.
I'm Marcus.
Welcome on in for those. If it's your first time
What
with
was
us,
that?
welcome. What?
I'm coming straight out like Scotty now. I'm coming straight out like Scotty now.
Well, I do want to take a quick pause though. One of our longtime subscribers, frequent commenter, Andy Holt, lives in North Carolina. I'm not sure which part of North Carolina he lives in, but hopefully him and his people are okay seeing the scenes from Hurricane Helene and the kind of the aftermath with all the mudslides,
Right.
bridges being out. I'm hoping that my guy is safe and sound and able to just yeah, it's crazy, it's devastating. Just things that you just wouldn't expect to see. So hopefully our guy is doing well. Shout out to Andy Holt. So let's get into it. Let me post this poll so as people come in, then maybe they can participate.
Okay.
Um, just about the Solheim Cup, President's Cup, and waiting on maybe Ryder Cup for next year. If what got your eye? So that's our number one thing, President's Cup. Number one
Yep.
thing that I was kind of excited coming off the Solheim Cup because it was also very good. The President's Cup has not been an exciting event up to this point. It's pretty much been a foregone conclusion that the U.S. would mud stomp the internationals, but we were breaking down the matchups the week prior, and we saw that there were going to be some tight matchups all in all. And I even saw a post, and we'll get into it a little bit later, that ultimately the internationals only lost one, the Americans only won one more hole over the entire length of the competition outside of their internationals, but it was very much lopsided despite that kind of even play. So that was an interesting thing. So we're gonna talk about Mike Weir's decision making, particularly on Saturday. So I know we were going back and forth. It's exciting. Just overall, high level, what'd you think about the Presidents Cup this year?
Overall, I mean, I tried not to miss any of it. It was just some of the best golf, some of the best competition we've seen all year, and it didn't take much to get either side fired up and very passionate about the event. So I just think it's laying the brickworks for what could be a really good situation going forward for at least the next decade because both teams have very young players, young cores. So I think this rivalry or whatever they have got ignited, it's definitely going to be good for these next five events that they have coming up. 2026, 2028. The guys are buddy buddy outside of it, but when they get inside the ropes for the President's Cup week, you can clearly tell that they are for their side. And that is very much so just invigorating all the way through the game of golf. So I'm very happy
Yeah,
about it. I'm glad it's going on.
they were locked in. I'm hoping that some of that passion rolls over to the Ryder Cup next year, which that one always is.
Yeah.
But in the past years they've been kind of buddy buddy, but with some separation. We'll see how things go. Just as a side note, looks like John Rahm is making his push to get back into the Ryder Cup. He had to play in a handful of DP World Tour events to be able to make that happen for next year. So he played in the Spanish Open this past weekend, and we'll touch on that near the end of the show as well. But he, finally made a serious push to make sure that he could not be excluded from the
Yeah.
Ryder Cup for next year. Tom Kim, man. So I had a few videos queued up, and the first few days of the tournament, Tom Kim was ultimately in the mix of all conflict, and that's through high level play, that's through
Yeah.
some fist bumps and yelling. So day one, him and Scotty were going against each other, and there was a, a putt that was sunk by Tom Kim of distance, with some activity and excitement behind it, and then we have Scotty Scheffler coming right behind him and you know, asking like as she came onto the show. what was that? So I have this
Mhm.
video queued up. We'll play it. Hopefully, because I pulled it from TikTok, the copyright gods don't come strike me down. So let's get this rolling.
They were putting at 8. Tom Kim trying to fight back. Got it to go. They need something like that. They need a spark. Scheffler to tie. This will be his first birdie today. What's that? Look at that. Whoa. Scheffler showing some emotion as well.
So I think I made, like you, what do you call it? Tiki talk. I think
Tiki
for
Taki.
me, I think the best thing that I'm seeing of this 2024 year, and we've talked about this earlier and multiple times, is that we're seeing a new side of Scotty Scheffler. I mean, we've known him as
Yeah,
this really laid back, humble guy, but we're getting to see his competitive side where the juices are flowing and that he really has this passion to not lose. He's,
yeah,
had tons of wins in 2024, gold medal, the Masters again, had a baby, 7 tournaments, the Tour Championship, and you see that he still loves getting out there playing golf. He said, I saw an interview off to the side where he said he's figured out his practice routine where he can go in, get his work done, be good at what he does, and then go home and have that balance with the family. You see the family's been traveling with him quite a bit this year. So
yeah,
what do you think about this new side of Scotty Scheffler that we really hadn't seen a whole bunch of before 2024?
yeah. I think as it comes to Scotty, we kind of saw it with that little, excerpt that he had with the interview talking about how much he loves to compete and things like that. As far as when he's back at home with the buddies, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna find a way to get a handicap and let them know that they get this many strokes because it's something to work for when we're coming back into the crib, and I still want to play with the guys." So I think that was the beginning of it, and this is really just kind of like the apex of it, and hopefully, he'll actually carry this over to the Ryder Cup as well because again, he didn't really have the best performance the first time through the President's Cup, and then he came through and he showed up a lot. Still had some moments where he didn't really look like the number one golfer, but but it's just like what we were talking about. He was competing his butt off, and Hideki Matsuyama really just did what he was supposed to do on Sunday singles, and tried to
Mhm.
make a statement. Clearly just wasn't enough, but yeah, I like this side of Scotty. I'm always for when you're up, it's time to talk shit. And, I think a lot of people aren't ready to take it on the chin, pause, when, things start to humble him. But I think Scotty will take it in stride as well. And I think that's why it's good to see him with this side as well. Because I think he'll be able to bounce back if he is to get humbled, if he is to have one of those rounds where it's like, I didn't have my best, I kind of, see where it choked it. But I think this is a side of Scotty that a lot more people need to be introduced to for sure.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of why Tom Kim is experiencing some kind of blowback and criticism regarding him being so vocal all week and then not necessarily having the record to kind of respond to the noise that he was talking. So I think there's some
Right.
criticism as a result of that. But, you have to be really sure about yourself. And Tom Kim's a really fine player. I mean, he had to
Yeah.
have the best 2024. Hopefully, this also springboards him as well to have a better bounce back 2025 and just kind of something to strive for. And I, also mentioned in that TikTok that Scotty Scheffler and Tom Kim, have become close as both reside in Dallas. And, Tom Kim has spent Thanksgivings with the Schefflers. So it's been an
Yeah.
interesting relationship and to see them go at it. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Competition where you can, you know, go head to head, talk that crap, and then break bread at the end of the day, pound it out, bump shoulders and call it a day, and it's all
Yeah.
good. So, but you could just tell they were definitely serious about it. So let's get into this next. Well, before I go there, day one, the U.S. went up 5-0 in the 4-ball competition. No surprise, really, because we saw that the U.S. just as a one-on-one, head-to-head, that they just had the better golfers, right? And so when they're
Right.
really essentially playing best ball first in the hole, that it's a high likelihood that they would dominate that. Then you
Right.
turn around on day two when you have foursomes and they're playing alternate shot, and the U.S. just, again, maybe that individualistic mindset doesn't come out and play as well, ends up losing 5-0. So we go into day three tied up, which was surprising
Right.
because, you're thinking, okay, dang, get a couple of points, but to have it back even going into Saturday, which,
A little shocking.
a little bit shocking. What'd you think going into day three? Were you also shocked by the result that they couldn't even scratch out a point or two?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, coming back and seeing 5-5 was definitely very eye-opening. I absolutely was like, you know what? They get 3 out of the 5. That's cool. It's 7-3. We'll be all right. Them boys came back and they won in even more dominant fashion. They won 6-5, 7-6. I mean, this is when you kind of think like, oh, I think we're in for something here. And then also that's where you get the whole they're winning one less hole overall than us because they beat us so bad in foursomes that day. It just seemed like it. I mean, it really
Yeah.
did seem like that, bro. They busted our ass. When they won, they won.
Yeah. And it puts you on your heels going into Saturday, possibly thinking, okay, when we have to play foursomes again, that we
Yeah.
might be able to see, we might have a similar result. Luckily, the U.S. was able to really battle back and hold on,
That was some
and
gritty
put it out
shit
of reach.
Saturday.
It was.
That was some
So let's
truly
knock out
gritty shit.
the Tom Kim stuff, and then we'll get into the details. So also
Okay.
on Saturday, Tom Kim, in a different matchup with Siwoo Kim, and both in the morning and afternoon session, really and so that moment, really kind of culminated with the night, kind of the Steph Curry celebration, which Siwoo Kim had done in a handful of holes prior to that after sinking a long putt. And they had been leading that entire match. But Patty Ice and Xander hung in there, showing that intestinal fortitude, sinking the putt under the nightlight, the barely the what do you call it? The scoreboard lighting up the green. We saw Wyndham Clark kind of imitate the same gesture right back at them after that punt was sunk. And we'll touch on that a little bit later as well. We had a little internet beef as well. But after this match, Tom Kim gets up on the podium and has this horrible press conference, and without providing any detail of who he thought it was, it could have been a fan. But let's do this, and this is again why he's getting some criticism.
Got a little feisty out there. I could hear some players cursing at us, and I just that part wasn't really. I don't think there was good sportsmanship there, but it's all part of the fun. I understand it. So that the U.S. team definitely motivated us to go out there.
Tom Kim was in here not long ago, and he said that he heard some players cursing at him, and that he didn't think there was good sportsmanship out there. I just thought it was fair to give you guys a chance to respond or comment.
I mean, I can speak for myself. I felt like Pat and I, we treated, the Kims with the utmost respect. We're trying to quiet the crowds down when they were hitting, trying to quiet the crowd. Just we'll go back on film, quiet the crowds down when we were hitting, and it was fair take, give and go. I have no clue if anyone was doing any of that. I don't believe any of our guys would do something like that. So I'm not sure what he was hearing.
Again, I'm going to replay the beginning part of this other video.
They were putting at 8. Tom Kim trying to fight back. Got it to go. They need something like that. They need a spark.
So again, gesturing directly at the Americans after making that putt, which was an impressive putt. But you cannot say that there weren't words exchanged on both sides of the equation. So to get in there in the on the press conference and snitch like that, that's pretty lame. What do you think about that, man?
I mean, listen, I wouldn't even call it snitching because not saying that I'm the biggest Patrick Cantley fan. We've documented this before, but bro is a straight golfer and he is in his own world. I don't think he nor Xander would just go out here and sit out here and curse people under their breath and stuff like that. If you naming names, name the US team that was, coming up the way supporting on the sideline. But
Right.
again, name names.
Name the names.
Stand on business
that-
if you're trying to be that way. If you really want to get toxic, stay that way. Now, again, if it really motivated you, why are we talking about how much the US won? And why did they win the solos the next day if y'all were so motivated? What are we motivated
Yeah.
about, bro? Y'all were the last match out. Y'all were the last team to putt and could not bear to do anything clutch when it mattered the most, my boy. So again,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Led for
It just
14 or
ain't-
15 holes.
Right. And then again, the night situation. The night got you to half in the match, bro. You didn't even go up. You didn't even win the
Right.
match. You didn't even, there was no gold on the board afterwards. So I'm just trying to understand who went to bed. I really am trying to understand it, bro.
Yeah,
'Cause we was
that's
all
got to be
still up.
that's got to be the finishing move when you've completely knocked them out of the box. You can't have holes
Right.
left to play and then go to the night celebration.
And then you were the one that missed the putt, Siwoo Kim. Again, you talk big and then you whispering. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
Don't get me
You
wrong.
ain't got
So
the nails yet, bro. And that's
What-
another thing. Just like what you're getting ready to allude to, I love the energy, but you
Yeah.
gotta stand on that, bro. Don't back down. There is no retraction of that, bro. You gotta stand
Yeah.
on that shit. Look, we lost, but it's still fuck them. Please let me know. Please,
hold
bro.
on.
Like,
Come on,
oh my
come
goodness.
on, dirty mouth Marcus. Come on, dirty mouth.
Sorry,
Marcus.
Mom.
Keep it PG. So
I'm
yeah, I mean
passionate,
they played incredibly well. That's the thing that I hated, because let's say that match goes another way, right? So going into the singles, as we've already talked about, the internationals just head for head needed to be within 2 points. I want to say
They needed to be
that
up.
would have.
Whoever said they needed to
Yeah.
be up was right.
I agree, because you're gonna lose out of those 12 head-to-head matchups. There's just really a low likelihood of you dominating, right? So you theoretically, yes, but once you go down 4 points, it's over. It's a virtual certainty that
Yeah.
you really have no chance going into Sunday. And you texted me pretty early on in the Sunday, like, hey, the U.S. came out focused. I don't want to jump ahead too far. I do want to talk about Mike Weir's decision to not change up the lineups on Saturday. Played the
Yeah.
same matchup morning and afternoon, and it didn't pay off. Right? He swung for the fences. They didn't end up pulling ahead in the matches and the point situation. So they go into Sunday tired and also, a little bit deflated because they weren't able to pull off the ultimate gamble. Even though they gave it the good old college try and really pushed the limits. But I think there's a lot of criticism to go around regarding that decision. I mean, yeah, part of this is running off adrenaline, but a long day on Saturday where they were saying they had 4 a.m. wake up calls to get them out, get them up ready,
Yeah.
get ready to go out there and play those 2 sessions. What do you think about that decision? Do you ever think that within the same day you should not change up the lineups and have 4 players sitting all day?
I mean, that's touchy. I mean, that's a field call, but I think a lot of the times they already have this stuff planned out. I don't know if they're ever just gonna change it on the fly like that. But I think the thing that I'm not really that I don't know, Rod. I'm not really that affected by what he did Saturday. I'm more disappointed in his Sunday. His Sunday, bro, like there is a
Yeah.
multitude of ways you could have brought out the troops on Sunday, and you chose a very bad lineup to go. But just like you said, let's not jump ahead. I think if you win the morning session, it's cool if you keep that same 8. But to see that Minwoo Lee, a very vibrant player, somebody the crowd was trying to get behind, play Thursday, then play Sunday. I don't know if I go there, my boy.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
even if he even if he gets out there and loses, you still got the crowd behind somebody that's gonna light a flame. He's still gonna be shot making. He's still gonna be in the mix, and plus, it'll give him something to look forward to on Sunday. He's a young guy. We're not talking about energy levels with Minwoo Lee. That's for
Right.
sure not the case. So, yeah, yes, he did blow it. Yeah, 100%. But I
Yeah,
mean,
because I agree. I
Sunday
agree with
was
you.
worse to me.
I agree with you that if you on Saturday don't you lose the morning session 3-1, 3 points to 1, right? So now you're 8 and 6 going into the afternoon. You pull out the
Yeah,
same lineups. Yeah, bro. If you had fought to a draw, you can say that's the right decision, but
right.
clearly that wasn't it, and then you end up losing. Let me pull it up just so I can speak with specificity. Doing the same
Three
thing, you go
one, three
3-1
one.
in the afternoon. Yeah, man. So I agree wholeheartedly. We're definitely blew it with that decision. And then on Sunday, I'm gonna pull up the matchups here because it's a long list. Let's go ahead and roll into Sunday.
Man, Sunday
So
had me heated, bro.
let's pull it up. If it'll let me. All right. Hopefully that's big enough. Yeah, that looks pretty prominent. So again, Jason Day also sat um, you know, all day Saturday. I think that was a mistake. It was not health related. He just looked, I wouldn't say rusty because I mean he played 2 days before, but
Yeah,
not necessarily the sharpest his game has been, right? And we were
yeah,
kind of going back and forth, and we said, my assertion was if Jason Day can actually get out early and put some pressure on Xander, maybe he gets a chance to win that one. Uh, Sam Burns, I love Sam Burns. The guy looks the part. They were touting his putting, heavily this week. I think he's got to tighten up the iron game, and I think he's the next superstar, right? I think if he
yeah.
puts in 2 good off seasons of tightening up his irons off the tee and around the greens, I don't think there's much better than Sam Burns. It's him losing strokes out of the fairway. So, what
Yeah.
matchups really pissed you off on Sunday?
Well,
Let's just say what I have presented right here.
I mean, the first thing is what is your strategy here? What are you trying to what are you trying to instill into the group? You got Tom Kim going out second, not first. Why? Jason Day ain't no emotional leader. Jason Day is not the best player. Jason Day isn't even the most experienced President's Cup player. What are you thinking? You got to
Yeah.
go Canadian here. You got to go Tom Kim here. You got to go Matsuyama here. You got to go
Well,
Adam Scott here.
I know Matsuyama ended up winning, but up to that point, Matsuyama had not played very well this week.
But also he didn't get paired up with anybody doing. I mean, SJM wasn't doing anything when they played. SJM played better when he was playing with Tom Kim, somebody emotional, somebody fiery, and then he played better. He started out okay, but I mean, that's another story. There was a lot of people that really had my heart warm because they showed up and they ended up being dogs. Boy, I tell you what, Russell Henley,
Oh yeah, he's the
boy,
glue guy.
oh,
I said that too. That
oh,
the matchup with him and Scotty was very good on Saturday, especially that
oh,
afternoon session. Um,
yeah.
I mean, Russell Henley
Listen,
is a good. He's not the longest off the tee, but he is a good iron player and he is good on the greens.
he is nails. Oh my goodness, bro. Wedge in his hand, good. Um, yeah, and also Jason Day had nothing to provide for Xander Schauffele after hole 2. He
I
made
think that I would love because after the Solheim Cup we got stories about Suzanne Pedersen and gosh I'm forgetting her name now, Ewing, and kind of
yeah,
some tension in the locker room. I wonder if something went on between Jason Day and Mike Weir because it just I don't know. For a guy, I know he's not the best player right now, but for a healthy Jason Day, I put him out there more than the 3 times that he got a chance to get out on the greens and walk the
yeah.
fairways. That seemed a little short sighted to me. He's not a cheerleader. He's a talented player. Let's go to the second half real quick.
He's a lead by example guy for sure. Let me just
I
mention that
definitely
Xander
go ahead.
Schauffele on his own ball was 7 under through 14 holes. Let me just say that, or through 15 holes. Let me just say that. So,
Yeah,
like I said,
he was
Jason Day
on it.
had
He's
nothing
on
to
it.
provide for Xander. Xander
Xander's had a
really, boy,
hell of a
this year,
2024.
oh we, oh
We've said it. If Scotty
yeah, we
Scheffler
have.
didn't have the year that he had,
We'd be,
Xander is the
ooh,
player of the year.
yeah, 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 yeah. Easily. Yeah,
But
let's
when
move
you
on.
look at the one-on-one matchups, honestly, I mean, by the time we got to Tony Finau didn't clinch it. It was when did I get the alert?
Keegan
It
Bradley,
was
right
Keegan
before him.
Bradley. So yeah, the fifth match
Oh, the
out
match before him.
was the clutcher, right? So
Yeah,
match number 5 clutched it for the clinched it for the day. So all these other 6, and I'm just trying to think if there's a fire starter in the bottom half. I put Adam Scott out there, even though he ends up losing. At this point, again, you have to kind of discount the results on the bot once you get to this, and it's already over.
yeah.
That changes people's mental state and how they go about it. But I definitely put Adam Scott out there. This man has been playing the President's Cup for an
President's Cup.
untold number of years, right? And
Yeah,
has only sat out one session in all of these years. You got to get that man in the first 3 matches. Get the
I think
energy going.
so. Here, if I'm Mike Weir, here's how I do it. If I think Adam Scott's got to go 4, or I don't know, because I feel like you either got to front load with Tom Kim and some emotional leaders going out
Yeah.
first, get the crowd yelling, or you got to go all 3 Canadians in a row. You got to go Matt Hughes, Corey Connors, and then sorry but not sorry. Taylor Pendrith didn't have it this week. He got to go
No.
third. We not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We not. I don't know. We not fighting for Taylor Pendrith. But after that,
No. But
then I think it's
Corey
Adam
Connors
Scott.
played his ass off. Like the
Oh my
quality of
God,
golf that I saw from Corey Connors was
Steady
really good.
Eddie.
His
That's why he
his
goes
record
off
may not
too.
have shown it. His record may not
Agreed.
have reflected that, but the play was there. Just watching the shots, um, he's got it. I
Agreed.
mean,
Yeah,
when he gets going, he gets going.
yeah. I think Mac Hughes got to lead it. I think he's number 1. Corey Connors, Steady Eddie number 2. Then Taylor Pendrith 3. If you go Canadians first, then you get into Tom Kim, you get into Adam Scott, then you get into Siwoo Kim because Siwoo Kim showed up. That's when you get
Yeah.
into the middle, and then Sung J M, Hideki, yeah. Christian Bazuntai, he got to be last. I don't know. Or Jason Day got to be last. I don't know. Minwoo, he got to be like 7, 8. Ben On, he ain't really do it for me this week. He did.
No.
Oh, and let me say this before we get into the post he made. Bro, he lost a lot of cool points with me just off the corniness alone, bro. You using a freaking broomstick, and you put the putter down inside the cup to show it's inside the leather. Bro, you using an 80-foot putter, bro. It's not funny. It's not even funny when he did that to Sahith Theegala. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he did that.
I'm pretty sure I saved the video.
It ended up halving the match. Anyways, with him. Because he's not clutch. That's why he's a career second placer, a career third placer, career top tenner. But again,
so yeah, I do have it. Let me send this to myself. Another Tom Kim involved incident. I'm airdropping it to myself. I knew I had so while I'm pulling this up, let's also look at the records as well.
Yeah. Let's look at the records.
Let's see here.
And then did it twice. Boy, corny. Oh.
Yeah, trying to get the attention, but then got up there at that press conference. That's what pissed me off. So let me go back up to the Americans, right? So we have, Keegan, respectable 2-1-1. Sam Burns, again, 3-0-1. Cantlay, Patty Ice, 4 points on the board, right? Colin Morikawa, the Iron Game off the chain, 4-1-1, 4-1-0. Xander, 4-1-0. Again, we talked about that record-wise. Scotty Scheffler wasn't our very best, 3-2-0 record-wise, but the emotional leader, right? Stepping up,
for sure,
earning the respect in the locker room. I think he's come a long way. And so the record, to me, you don't throw it out, but it's respectable, right? Taking some chances, but got 3 points on the board. Are we surprised by Brian Harman going 0-3-0? I think we questioned that pick right off the bat.
Right. Absolutely not. I'm unmoved. But that's the thing, though. We already knew. So anything he did, it was just going to be, okay, all right. Only people I'm really confused. I don't know, man. Max Homa, I just really don't think he had it going. But 2024 really hasn't been his year as it is.
No, but he came out serious on Sunday. The fact that he hold out on number one for the Eagle and no reaction. All he said was, "That's one."
Yeah.
No jumping around, just straight to the business.
What did I text you?
It's not his year.
What did I text you about, Max? Did I not say he was going to do that?
Sahith Theegala, they said he had his coach out there, was working on some things. Looks like he's fighting some stuff with his game right now, or just trying to, work on some stuff in the off season. So I'm not surprised that he only got 2 ops at it. No harm, no foul. He was happy being a cheerleader and cheering on the other guys. So shout out to him for doing his thing. So let's scroll on down to the internationals.
Again, by the way, Wyndham Park 1-2-1. Believable.
Yeah. That's kind of his year.
Yeah, I think with Sahith Theegala, I think him being a rookie and being on the winning side, yes, you're happy to be a cheerleader. Me and my secondhand embarrassment. I do not like when they ask these hard-hitting questions to these players. These dudes is emotional. You gonna ask Minwoo Lee after his half on this final day, yo, what's up? You didn't play Friday nor either session on Saturday. What you think? You and we're good? Like, bro, what? In front of my wife and everything?
But this is where we're opposite. I like the hard-hitting questions. Put them under the fire. Like come out, drop some mess. Let us know what's happening in the back end. So I kind of appreciate those kind of questions. Yeah.
He handled it maturely. He said, no hard feelings. I'm a rookie. I just had to do my job on this day here. Da 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 da. But let's get into the
You,
internationals.
you, you and that da 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 da
Nationals.
da. Okay, da 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 da.
Sorry.
All right, none of them had sparkling weeks, right? They got they got stomped. There's really no MVP on the international side. I mean, there's just really not. I mean, Hideki shouldn't have played all 5 sessions. I love him,
Agreed.
but he just shouldn't have been out there. Sung J M, I think, just caught a buzzsaw several times.
Yeah.
I don't think he deserved to be 1-4-0, but I mean, it
Yeah.
is what it is. I mean, he's a
Agreed.
solid player. He's gonna get you in a fairway. He's gonna hit a green, but again, just ran into some buzzsaws, and I mean, I don't know. There's not much to pick out from here. It's just they were playing on fumes come Sunday, so the results are the results, and no surprises there. So,
Yeah.
any other notes from their record?
I mean, no, not really.
No, let's keep it moving.
no.
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing. Let's keep it moving. All right. Let's pull up this Tom Kim putter thing. I totally forgot about that one. Again, he was in the mix with everything this week. It's just kind of sad how much he put himself out there to be embarrassed.
The Americans saw that.
And Brad Faxon calls it. He said, shouldn't have done that. That's just tacky, man. And that's become, I mean, we've seen that. I'm thinking about notable people who have done that over the years. Saw that with Justin Thomas a handful of years ago. Hell, I saw that in a U.S. Girls AM competition where the player did that with the putter link because they weren't given a putt.
Yeah.
And then she ended
up down.
And then ended up losing like the next 3 holes. So I mean, I hate that move. Like I don't know. Like it's so tacky. If you can make the putt and it's makeable, just go up there and make it, right? If somebody makes you putt it out, just make the putt. But to try to use it as like this tactic, it rarely goes well. I've not seen it go well yet. So
yeah. I think also, as we mentioned before, you have got to be prepared to make everything. It's match play. It's match play. It's match play. Like, I don't know how many times I got to emphasize that, but it's match play, bro. You just got to be ready to hold everything, and you got to be prepared. Exactly. You got to be prepared for your opponent to hold everything. That's the thing, bro. Whether you like it or not, you are trying to win. You're trying to win the match. And if Xander and Patrick are thinking you're shaky, prove them wrong. Keep making the putts. Right. But clearly they saw something in it that they thought maybe you weren't going to make it. So just go up there and make the putt, as you said.
Maybe it's some turn in that putt. It's downhill,
right?
It's sliding a little bit, right?
Yeah, there could have been a couple of different factors in there. But again, you're through 7 holes, or at that point before the hole finished out, you're through 6 holes, and you're already down 2, and you're still doing this, buddy. I think you need to get square. I think you need to get up in the match before. Again, you're talking like this. That's just. Oh, man. And then good on Siwoo Kim to try to laugh it off, but it was a nervous laugh. He knew,
Yeah. Tacky. We've talked about President's Cup for 40, so that's all our notes on it. I'll let you get final kind of thoughts on it. The only thing I want to say is kudos for a watchable event. It wasn't a throwaway President's Cup. I loved it. I was locked in. It was good until kind of afternoon on Sunday, and you knew it was a foregone conclusion. So anything else you want to say to wrap up our President's Cup stuff?
I mean, I just want to reiterate that I'm very ecstatic about what we got going on for the Ryder Cup and then the President's Cup these next few years with this young core coming in. And I just really, I am just over the moon with what we saw in some of them players because Russell Henley is a original Nike athlete back in 2014. So like I was
Right.
a fan
He's
when he
he's
fell
the
off.
he's the
and then-
veteran. He's a
Right.
35-year-old veteran.
He's been bringing it back. So very excited to see what he has going forward. Super elated with Xander Schauffele. I mean, boy, Scotty got a. Oh, if Scotty was not here, boy, Xander Schauffele this year.
He's that man. He's that guy. And no
He's
no
the
BS
guy,
around
bruh.
wearing no BS around wearing a hat or not wearing a hat from Cantlay this session.
I,
So just
oh
happy
yeah,
to keep
Cantley
the
was really
BS.
good.
Yeah, keep the BS to the side. Just go play golf. That was really good. And you made me think about when you said the young core, and I am super not I shouldn't say happy. I don't know the right way to put it without insulting. I am totally good with not seeing Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth on these teams going
Yeah,
forward.
new
Unless Jordan
generation,
Spieth
please.
unless they get the game back rolling, I am very happy to move past that era of kind of the boys clique and the guys who have been in it forever. I'm very pleased that guys are stepping up to the plate, getting their games together,
Yeah,
and putting themselves up next to be stars. So what you said kind of triggered that the
yeah.
old guard
Again,
is moving on down the road.
yeah. I mean, individually, great players, but in a team aspect, career losers. I just
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the college
There's a
stuff, they don't have anything to say, bro.
there's a certain attitude that you
2016
have
is
to
it.
bring into the team room. You have to bring a certain attitude into the team room. It can't be about you. You got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
2016 was it.
um,
After that, we have not seen wins or winning or anything from the American side, bro. Get a new core, get a new generation, get
yeah,
somebody that isn't talking about revisionist history. They're looking what's in front of them and they are see winning. They see winning teams, not this. We gotta fight back from what happened last time. We gotta get it back in blood.
nah,
They ain't talking about that. We talking about what's
no.
going forward and we talking about winning straight up. None of this
I think the
revenge
true
shit. None of that.
the true test will be in 3 years when the U.S. team has to go back out of the country in the Ryder Cup and prove it on the road. That's U.S. I don't expect them to falter at home at Bethpage next year. I just don't. It's a home game. The odds are in your favor. You expect the best, but 3 years down the road, um, on the road, will they do well? That's it.
Right.
You know.
I mean, I agree, but also you got to think back to Medina in 2012. Hey, look, that European squad does not mind being villains. They do not mind. Look, that's what I'm saying when I'm
It's
saying
true.
stand on business. It ain't one time in 2012 where they were not, where Ian Poulter wasn't egging the crowd on. I want to hear that. Give me that. I so next year is gonna
Well,
be it's
the
gonna
the
be a tell.
we'll see. We'll see if internationals can create the magic in Medina in 2026. So that's
Yeah,
where the President's Cup will be held in a couple of years.
that
So
it will.
all right,
Hmm.
let's keep it moving. Overseas, not just in Canada, we had the Spanish Open. I mentioned earlier in the show, John Rahm, needs to play in a certain amount of DP World Tour events to qualify for the Ryder Cup. He filed an appeal, didn't have to pay the fines. In the interim, he's able to play in tournaments until they determine what's going on there. Ultimately, I'm sure he'll have to pay some fines, but in the short
Yeah,
term, he's going to be playing on the DP World Tour. Had several of the live guys over there: Pat Reed, David
Hadden.
Puge, Terrell Hadden, also played. So those four guys, big names. And then we had several PGA Tour and kind of guys that shift back and forth between the DP World Tour. Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, Aaron Rye was over there. Didn't do well. Finished in like the 80s or 90s. Matt Wallace,
Yeah.
who won a couple weeks ago on the DP World Tour, Seth Straka, Matthew Pavon. So some bigger names are actually participating in this event. Um, Ends up going into a playoff with John Rahm. He looked like he was searching, all back nine. Had a stretch where he
Yeah.
had 3 birdies in a row. Then he double bogeyed a hole.
Yeah.
Ends up going into playoff with his fellow countryman Angel Hidalgo. Third playoff hole. John Rahm kept putting it on the left side, not able to get the cut to cut, and kind of played through the back of the green, kept ending up on the hill on the left side of the green.
Weird
Hidalgo,
slope. Yeah. Weird slope chip.
yeah. Grass was really clumpy over there, and then finally just got
Right.
into a lie that he just couldn't get the ball to stop. Hidalgo gets up and down for a birdie. Rahm closes out with a par, wins it on his home thing. And I think the touching part was that he's like, it was just a few years ago. I think John's last victory was in 2022 at the Spanish Open, and Hidalgo
Yeah.
was in the crowd following John Rahm. So pretty cool. Redemption, star arc, not redemption, but just hero arc for the home Spaniard to get a win on home turf. Can't beat that with the stick. Looked like a nice, talented guy. You just hope for guys like that to kind of have a breakout and maybe get some bigger opportunities. We'll see if we see his name
Yeah.
again. But either way, it was good to see Rom being a human and kind of interacting with the guy. Doesn't have to do that, especially with the whiny baby that we think
His
Rom is
stature.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of that one?
Yeah. I also think, I didn't try to catch all of the Open de España, but I did try to catch a good run of it with the livers in there. Just again, you got if we're gonna talk big on the guys, we got to keep tabs. So you got to make
Yeah.
sure that like Tyrrell Hatton didn't come out hot, but still made the cut. Ended up making a resurgence on the weekend. Typical Tyrrell Hatton. Patrick
Yeah.
Reed, Steady Eddie. I think again, just to, the golf guides are not going to let you pass by until you get what you deserve. So he's not going to be in the action for winning and anytime soon, pretty much, in my opinion.
Who's that? Who, Haddon or Rom?
Reed.
Oh, Reed, Pat Reed, sorry.
Yeah, but
Yeah. He fell back hard. Oh,
exactly,
every time
like
I
I
looked
said.
up, he was losing strokes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pat
guess
Pat
what
Reed
other
is. Yeah.
guess what other goofball was over there playing that
Hmm.
Jimmy Walker.
Shut the front door.
That boy was playing, and oh my God, they showed him swerving on a 3-foot putt, boy. Oh man, it was delicious on TV. Just hard lip out, comeback putt, harder, longer than the putt for the birdie or whatever he had going on. Oh man, it was so poetic. It was so poetic, Rod.
I
Oh man,
I wish, I don't hate anybody, but if Jimmy Walker stubbed his toe every morning getting out of bed, I'd be happy. I'd have a smile on my face.
1000%.
I do not like Jimmy Walker as a human being. One, just because of his personal beliefs are weird, but also twice, living in the DFW area. He's a kind of hill country, South Texas resident. So he plays all the Texas tournaments. On 2 occasions, I have made eye contact with Jimmy Walker, and both times he has sneered and looked at me like I was shit on the bottom of his shoe. Pardon my language. So
He's a
Jimmy
jerk.
Walker can kick rocks, bro. Seriously.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
I'm
didn't
glad you
even
put that
notice his
politely.
name. Did he miss the cut?
Nah, he made the cut, but again, it was
Yeah.
a Pat Reed situation. Bottom of the made cut, you getting 30, 40K, like congrats, move on up, whatever.
I
Um,
don't even know if you get that on the DP World Tour. Not that far down. That might be like a
True.
12K. 12K might pay for your
Very
flight.
true. Yeah, I but so the course though, again presented well. A lot of
Mhm.
tricky holes, just very cool stuff that we don't normally see on our side of the pond. But it just goes back to our days of watching Mark Crossfield, course vlogs, him going to Spain with Lockie and seeing all these
Yeah.
courses and stuff like that. That tree line stuff, but also elevation, getting you into trouble. Oh man, that course was everything
It's
plus more.
some
So I'm glad they put it on there.
really, really tricky bunkering too. Those
Exactly. Some
bunkers
really
were
scenic stuff that
exceptionally
could get you
placed.
in trouble. Hmm. Absolutely.
No
So I
doubt.
was very excited about that course. And, I just think we need to have more of that in here. I mean, that's just kind of like what happened with the Colorado course. I mean, just we need to see different visuals every now and again. We can't keep going back
Yeah.
to these stalwarts just because they have the logistics. Okay, map out some new courses and let's get the PGA officials in there so that we can already have that laid out for them as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not hard, but
Def-
yeah,
Definitely. That's why we stay rooting for DP World Tour because it always gave us something different to look at as they
thank you.
played, throughout Europe and different courses that we don't see on a week to week basis. So, yeah,
Yep.
shout out to them. I'm surprised I did not notice Jimmy Walker going down the list. So he ended up finishing tied for 13th. There was a five-way tie for 13th. He ended up taking home 42,907 euros. So that's not horrible. Euros are,
Yeah.
I think, higher than the dollar. So
They still have more value,
it's
so
worth
probably like 45,000 US or something like that.
it was worth the trip. All right,
Yeah,
last
whatever.
professional topic for the week. Quick mention to the LPGA, three rounder, the Northwest Arkansas Open, which they played near the University of Arkansas. The ladies were going low on Sunday. Also went into a playoff, two-hole playoff between Jasmine Sawanapura from Thailand and Lucy Lee, the child phenom that has finally blossomed on the LPGA. Had a pretty decent season this year for herself.
Yeah,
So 22 years old. You didn't get sucked up into the child stardom and kind of lose her way. So shout out to her for forging a career because it's easy once you
yeah,
get to play in a major as a 13-year-old to get sucked up in the trappings of professional golf and the expectations. But Jasmine won her third tournament on the professional level. It's been her drought for 5 years. So shout out to her. That tournament always kind of just end of the year um, sneaks up on. So usually it does go into a playoff from the last few handful of years that I remember. Remember Stacey Lewis going down the stretch in a playoff there a handful of years ago as well. Her home course and where she went to college. So um, yeah, quick shout out to the LPGA for their continued solid season,
yeah.
and really putting themselves on Front Street. I want to say this week they have a tournament, the BMW that they're playing this week, or maybe that's 2 weeks out because it's the second week of October. So they're taking a break this coming up week, and then they're finishing the year pretty strong. Any comments? Any random stuff before we call it a week? A lot of Presidents Cup talk this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I mean, it was crazy because we had President's Cup on Sunday too, even despite football Sunday. So I was very
Right.
elated when I came into work to see that. But yeah, man, I don't know, bro. I'm just so excited. I don't know, man. Xander Schauffele really opened my eyes, bro. I hate to just beat on a dead horse, but bro really had me lit. I mean,
Yeah.
the calmness. He never really just go crazy with the celebration until 18 when Patty Ice hit that putt. And again, it wasn't even for him. He cheering for his guy because that putt. Hey, look, that putt. 20-footer right to left. Oh man, it was art,
Yeah.
bro. It was art. And then Xander I'm telling you, that's what you do. You put your best player or your hottest player out first and you let him set the tone. And Xander set the tone. He was
He
5 up
did.
in the front nine. I mean, that's what I'm saying. he hold the 45 footer to start the match. So whatever Jason Day was doing with his little 4 or 5 footer, cool. I'm gonna drain it on top of you anyways. Second putt, second hole, get the same thing. J Day had a little left to right slider. Xander already had made the putt, so he needed that putt to half the hole. Xander was on one. And I think
Yeah.
2025 is going to be scary hours for the boys. I ain't going to lie to you. Scotty,
Yeah, hopefully they're
Scotty's
able
still
to.
going. He's still going to have some moments, and I think Patty Ice will have a more consistent year. Maybe not a FedEx Cup winning year like he did that other
Well,
year, but
you
he's going to have some time.
think about it though. Think about it though. When one of your close buddies starts succeeding, to a certain degree, there's that bit of not jealousy, but competitive juices start flowing. So
Right,
maybe we
right.
see, Patrick Cantlay, have a hell of a year, just focusing in, seeing Xander cross over that threshold. And we needed to see that, right? We needed to see
Yeah,
Xander get over the hump. And he was able to win 2 majors this year. Maybe we see Patrick get his first one.
right.
Who knows? Being that
Yeah,
close to greatness and seeing your peers and seeing your contemporaries do their thing, maybe next year is his year.
right. I'm cheering for
I think we have
everybody but Brian Harmon. I ain't going to lie to
you
you.
silly. You silly. This week we have the Sanderson Farms Championship in Mississippi. They're going to be changing sponsors this coming up year. It's an okay tournament. Again, just guys scrapping for position going into the 2025 season. The Alfred Dunhill Links Championship happening overseas across the
Yeah, we'll see
pond, so
Billy
that'll be
Horschel.
good. Yep.
We'll see
Yep.
Billy
He loves
Horschel again.
playing
We'll
over that
probably see
side.
Rory. Rory will play with his dad. Hopefully we see Michael Phelps. Hopefully we see Shane Lowry. That type of crowd. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And the Sanderson Farmers
Yeah.
is going to be fun because they're going to be trying to get to 30. I mean, they dead ass going to be trying to get to 30 under. So they're going to eat
Yeah.
that course up. Oh my God. It doesn't even matter,
So
bro.
the golf keeps rolling. And we'll be back at it next week, y'all. Thanks for joining us. So much football that we're competing with these days. Doubleheader on the NFL. Second game probably already going as well. So, Bearder Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.